Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to another lovely Focus 10 to 13.
Yeah, so you may or may not have had a webinar with me before. My name is Sean. I am Irish. I come from the west of Ireland, and I have been living and working in Milan in the school on Via Meravigli since September. And I work with the lovely Michelle.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle, and I'm originally from Pakistan, and I've been working in Milano Meravigli for a year and a half, almost 2 years now. You have to forgive me, my camera is off today because my connection is a bit unstable. So, to ensure that the audio quality isn't compromised, I put my camera off, but you can see the beautiful Sean.
Yes, I'm the main event anyway.
You, you are always the main event, my love.
Stop. Well, I'm very happy to see some people already introducing themselves as we've
Hmm.
asked below in the banner. We have Lavinia, who is a student from Meravigli. Hi, Lavinia. Nice to see you as always. And we also have Alessandro from Naples. Hi, Alessandro, and Justin, Julia from Genoa. Great. Everyone, please say hi. It's always great to hear from you. So, today's
Hmm.
focus, the change of seasons. Do you want to introduce the topic, Michelle?
Absolutely. Today we are talking about using the right language, the right descriptive language, the use of similes and metaphors, and using our different senses. So it's going to be an interesting class. I really like this lesson because it's a little bit different. What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, definitely. It's a nice because we use when we teach English, we always think of it in very practical terms, I think.
Mm,
So it's nice to get a bit artistic, a bit more expressive with your language. And
absolutely.
usually you would be writing for this focus, but seeing as it's in the webinar format, we're going to make it more conversational. But
Right.
anyway,
But if
a
you would
few
like
more
to write,
comments coming in.
if you would like to write,
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Write to us in the comments. We will read them out, correct them,
Mhm.
and send them back to you.
Yeah. So we have Sergio from Bologna. Hi, Sergio. We have Venanzio from Pescara. It's an interesting name. Okay. So I think we'll get started.
Hmm.
So we have two questions here. Can you read our question?
Absolutely. What is your favorite season? Why? Write a short description of your favorite season. Read it to the group.
Hmm. Yeah. So in the comments, could everyone tell us what is your favorite season and why? Give us a description of the aspects of this season that you like. So a quick refresh, our four seasons. I hope you remember them. Spring, summer, winter and autumn or fall, depending on if you're speaking British or American English. I would say autumn, Americans say fall generally.
Mhm.
So, which is your favorite and why? Can everybody who's commenting please tell us? Um, in the meantime, I suppose we'll discuss it, us too. Michelle, what is your favorite season and why?
Hmm. Okay, my favorite season is summer because it is nice and hot. I get to go to the beach. I usually take a vacation around then. Everything is is bright and the days are longer. And Lavinia here agrees with me.
Yeah.
My favorite season is summer because I love to feel the sun on my skin, going to the sea or to the lake and take a bath. Mm. Venancio says the same summer because he loves the sun and sea. Alessandro says my favorite season is summer because I spend my time on my bicycle at the seaside and clubbing with my friends. Perfect. What
Mm.
about you, Sean? What is your favorite season?
Yeah, I mean, summer is very popular, obviously, and I really do love summer. But for me, I really like spring, which is
Mm,
our season of the moment. So I'm quite pleased at the moment. Um, Part of the reason why I like spring is because I really hate winter. I really hate how
yeah.
cold it gets, the way everything dies. So when it becomes spring and all the flowers come, the trees turn green again, it gets warmer, sunnier, the days become longer. For me, this is very positive, and I like spring for that reason. And for
Mm,
me, summer can sometimes be a little too hot. It depends.
true.
Sometimes.
True. Lately, summer has been a little too hot.
Mm.
What with global warming and whatnot,
Yes.
climate change. The summers have gotten a bit more intense than I like. But and I do see your point about spring being such a lovely season because it brings with it hope. The days are longer for the first time. You feel like there's some light in your soul. Maybe I'm exaggerating,
No, no, I agree totally. It's
but
like
I do. Yeah, it's the renewal of life.
yeah.
Absolutely. But Sergio disagrees with us, and he's gone straight for winter.
Mm. Yeah.
My my favorite season is winter because I really like the snow and the Christmas holidays. Okay, good reasons. Good reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand, but still, I'm not a big fan of the cold, so
Yeah, yeah. The
yeah.
cold is it turns me off.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. The other one, I suppose, is autumn, and I don't really like autumn either. I'm quite indifferent. Autumn is quite neutral to me. Do you like
Um,
autumn?
I'm okay with autumn. Okay, so I like the first half of autumn, right? So September, October, November is the worst month, November and January, because they're wet and windy and cold. But the beginning of autumn, where you can put on a jacket and look cute, and you're not drowning in five coats, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's nice, I guess. Yeah, great.
Lucia says, my favorite season is spring because it isn't hot or freezing. To freeze is a verb. So when you want to, you would use the gerund, which should be freezing. I love the days where for the first time you can go out without a jacket. Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
those
we're
are.
having those days at the moment, but of course, unfortunately, we're not going out at all. So
Yeah. I can see the tree outside my apartment and it's turning green.
that's
and
nice.
I and I just feel really bad that I'm not able to enjoy this moment where you can sit outside all day and not die of a heat stroke.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh wow.
Anyway, if we get
Okay.
out in May, it will probably still be like this.
Venandio says, the only one noise of the summertime is the mosquitoes. I hate them. True, true. And then he corrected himself. Fantastic. Julia Risa says, my favorite season is summer because of the warm weather and I can go along the Riviera, beaches, walking and swimming. And then I go on a tourist trip whenever I want. Fantastic. And Sergio agrees with Venancio. He says mosquitoes are very annoying. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps Sean has frozen. Okay, so while Sean comes back, we're gonna do a quick exercise. Why don't you guys let's just share the vid. Okay, so I'm gonna share the screen, and when Sean comes back, he can share it. Okay, a detailed description. The first sure sign of winter in the north is a dusting of frost that envelops everything in sight, making the world seem as delicate as crystal. Soon after, a deep chill settles in, a cold you can feel right down to your bones. It is a cold that numbs fingers and makes you want to sit near a roaring fire. To combat the cold, people shuffle around in gigantic parkas and snowsuits that make the wearer look like a clumsy abominable. Oh, hello, you are back.
Hi, sorry everyone, the connection briefly went. Thank you for getting the slides, Michelle.
No worries. All in a day's work. Webinar. Webinars are us.
Yeah.
A clumsy, abominable snowman. The next thing to arrive is the snow. It starts out as tiny particles floating on the icy breeze. The flakes cling to your eyelashes, causing them to stick together. Eventually, the snow becomes a thick white blanket covering the land. The falling snow seems to muffle away faraway noises, making you feel like you are alone in the world. At the same time, it magnifies sounds from nearby, so that if you listen closely, you can hear the snowflakes touching ground or the smallest animal scurrying under the snowdrift.
Mm.
Wow, that's a beautiful piece of writing.
Yes, very, very descriptive, very evocative, I would say.
Mm, absolutely, that's a good word, evocative.
Yeah, it evokes the feelings, the smells, the sights of winter.
Okay, so we need to find two similes here.
Mm. Yes.
But first,
So,
we might have to define a simile.
yes. So I think the standard definition for a simile is a comparison using like or as.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, Michelle was like a butterfly.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Exactly, that's our Michelle.
Okay, we have two great answers here. We have Alessandra, who says, as delicate as crystal, as tiny particles. And then we have Lavinia, who also says, as delicate as crystal. So, The reason it won't be like tiny particles because as blank as, right? So you're comparing two things. If
Mm,
you talk about tiny particles, there's no comparison to anything else.
yes. Mm,
Okay, next, find one metaphor in text.
mm. So, what's the difference between a metaphor and a simile, Michelle?
Ooh, this is a good question. So, a metaphor is a figure of speech in which a comparison is applied to an object or an action to which it is not literally applicable, right? For
Mm.
example, as perhaps you can give us an example.
Um, I mean, the difference is so the simile is Michelle is like a butterfly. A metaphor, Michelle is a butterfly. You remove the like her as, and you have a very direct kind of way of making a comparison.
Right, it's a rhetorical effect.
Yes.
That's a
Mm,
good explanation. Okay, let's see what we have here. The snow becomes a thick white blanket. So it's just like Sean said, there's no like, there's no as, but the snow cannot be a white blanket. So it literally cannot be this. But when you say the snow is a thick white blanket, it's a metaphor. Okay, this is interesting. You guys think roaring fire could be a metaphor because the fire doesn't roar. Okay, so let's look at the word roaring fire. When we talk about flames, fire, roaring is an adjective and it basically means a fire that burns with a lot of heat. So a very strong fire.
mm,
It's not a verb like to roar, like the lion roars.
mm.
So there are many adjectives like this in this paragraph. So guys, go ahead and ask us if you think anything is a little confusing. And we're going to read this once more and just go over any vocabulary you might have any issue with.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the first paragraph, they say a dusting of frost. How would you define that?
So a dusting of frost is, well, if dust covers a surface, it's like a light layer on top of something. So a dusting of frost means that frost is kind of lightly covering everything. It's not an intense or heavy frost. It's a kind of light layer, I would say, is the implication.
Absolutely. The same way you can use this in to say your cake or your pies have a dusting of icing sugar, right? Because when you take it out of the oven, you just sprinkle a light layer of sugar on your baked goods.
Yeah.
Okay, a deep settles in. Anything else that you can think of that might be a little confusing?
Yes. Let me think. We have at the very end the verb to scurry, the smallest animal scurrying under the snowdrift. To scurry is a movement that almost always we use it to talk about animals, where it's a kind
Mm-hmm.
of a sneaky or rapid movement of an animal
Mm.
across an area, sort of rapid and kind of sneaky. And if you say a person is scurrying, they're definitely doing something sneaky. They're up to no good.
Hmm, true, and we usually use this verb to talk about rats, right?
Yeah.
Rats. and tiny disgusting animals.
Hmm.
Okay, Julia has a question. What does numb mean?
Yeah.
So
So
go for it.
this is a feeling you get in the cold, where the cold, usually you get it in your hands or your fingers, where the cold penetrates and you lose the feeling in your fingers or in your toes also, or your ears. The cold gets in and you stop being able to feel anything. So you can be physically numb, you can't feel something, but we also talk about being emotionally numb, where you can't feel emotion because you're so wounded, usually emotionally numb. So it's about not being able to feel something.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Okay, she has another question, which is, what does shuffle mean?
Hmm.
Okay, so let's look at the context because shuffle can mean two things. People shuffle around in gigantic parkas and snowsuits. Snowsuits. To shuffle around means to walk by dragging your feet. So you're not walking smoothly, you're dragging your feet. Um, and to drag someone's feet is when you don't lift your foot fully from the ground. Okay, shuffle can also be used again as a verb when you rearrange a deck of cards, right? You have, suppose you're about to play poker or whatever other card game you like to play, you want to mix the cards up first. So rearranging a deck of cards is also called to shuffle. Correct verb is to shuffle. Okay, so we are going to move on now. If you have any other questions, of course, let us know. Okay, find descriptions using senses in the text. What does that mean, Sean?
So using senses. So your five senses are the five different ways that you perceive things, that you um, perceive the world. So the five senses are sight, sound, touch, smell, and is that five? Sight, sound, touch, smell. What one am I missing?
To be able to hear,
Taste.
taste,
Oh yeah,
sound. Yeah,
hearing.
taste,
Six.
sound. No, you said sound. That's six.
Okay, hearing. Okay. So yes, those are the five. So you have to find descriptions here which are using the different ones. So what do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you feel? What do you perceive the texture of?
Okay, Julia has a question. What does muffle mean? Okay, so muffle is again one of those words that has more than one meaning. Over here, it says the falling snow seems to muffle faraway sounds. So within this context, it means that to cover up a sound or a source of sound to reduce how loud it is. So to make something less loud. For example, if you cough and you cough in your hand, you muffle the sound of your cough, right? You make your cough less loud.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to take Scurry again and Snowdrift?
Yeah, so maybe I went through Scurry earlier, but I'll just write into the chat. Scurry is a movement, usually of an animal, a kind of rapid, um, rapid and maybe sneaky movement of an animal. Usually, as Michelle said, kind of associated with rats and animals like this, which kind of move or dart quickly across a field of vision. And then a snowdrift. So a snowdrift is just when a snow is drifting down from the sky in a particular formation, a group of snowflakes moving down from the sky.
Fantastic. Okay, so why don't you guys tell us which descriptions use senses in the text? So we can do one just to show you. So the
Mm-hmm.
first one is right in the first sentence. The first sure sign of winter in the north is a dusting of frost that envelops everything in sight. So this description is using the sense of sight. Right, there's a little bit of snow and it covers everything that you can see. Okay, would you like to do number two?
Yes. So after that, we have soon after a deep chill settles in, cold you can feel right down to your bones. So
Mm,
this is about what you feel, your sense of internal temperature, texture, feeling.
I hate this kind of cold where it's so cold that you can feel it in your bones when the wind blows and you
Yeah,
feel like you'll never be warm again.
yeah, it's a bit scary to be honest when it's that cold. I really dislike it.
Likewise, likewise. Venancio has gone ahead. Fantastic. You can hear the snowflakes touching the ground. Good. That uses the sense of sound.
Hmm.
But before that, there is one more. It's a cold that numbs fingers, right? This is about the sense of touch. It's
Mm.
so cold that you lose the sensation in your fingers. Okay, would you like to take the next?
Hmm. Um, the falling snow seems to muffle faraway noises, maybe, or is there one before that? I'll cling to your eyelashes.
Mm-hmm. Cling
Mm,
to your eyelashes. So which one do you think this is? Which sense does it use?
I suppose it's touch, it's the feeling
Mm,
of
yep.
snow on your eyelashes.
When we use the word cling, it's the verb to cling. It means to get stuck to something.
Hmm.
Good work, Julia. Fantastic. Okay, what's next? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. The falling snow seems to muffle faraway noises, just like Sean said. Then magnify sound? No. You can hear the snowflakes touching ground. Okay, perfect. Any questions? Let us know. I'm going to move on. Striking similarities. A simile is the comparison of two things using like or as. Would you like to read, Sean?
So, example, it's as hot as a furnace outside. The weather is hot, furnaces are hot. The sunlight felt like a warm blanket on her shoulders. Sunlight is warm, blankets are warm. So those are two good examples of similes, and you have explained
Mm-hmm.
why you're using those particular elements to create the comparison. And what we want you to do is think of a simile for each of the following. So we just have statements. The water is cold. Clear summer nights are bright. In the summer, it gets very dry. The spring air smells nice. It's quiet when it snows. The rain sounds loud. So these are just statements about what the situation is. And you have to compare it to something using like or as and as. Okay, so pick one or two and send them into the comments, and we'll go through them.
Fantastic. So perhaps we can do a couple
Sure. Are you feeling creative, Michelle?
remotely.
Do you like creative writing, Michelle?
Um, I used to when I was younger, but I used to do some creative writing,
Mm,
but I haven't done that in years.
yeah.
And no, the quarantine has not inspired me to start creative writing once more.
Okay. Oh dear.
But
Yeah.
but I've been expressing my creativity in different ways, like sketching and painting
Okay.
and things like
Hmm.
that. How about you?
Yeah, I'm the same as you. I'm a visual person. I've been painting and sketching and things like that. I'm not as I don't have a way with words really in poetry, things like that. But of all kinds of writing, I think descriptive writing is the kind I like the most as a
True,
visual person.
true, because it evokes visualizations, right? You can
It
picture
does.
everything
Yeah.
in your head. Oh, okay. Alessandro has said the water is cold like my freezer. Okay.
Not very romantic, but very effective.
Yeah, it works.
Hmm.
Here, summer nights are as bright as well. You wanted romance. He gave you
There
romance.
you go. That is very romantic.
Here, summer nights as bright as your eyes. Wow.
Has anyone ever said something like that to you, Michelle?
Oh, thank God, no. I mean, it's quite
Wouldn't work.
lovely.
Yeah.
No, but I would be quite concerned if someone said. I would burst out laughing at the
Oh,
spot.
you're
I had
not you're not romantic, no?
what? No, I'm no, I'm not a die-hard romantic, and I also don't fall for pickup lines.
Oh,
So whenever anybody tries something like that, my I just start laughing. I know it's mean, but sometimes
okay.
it's a very genuine reaction.
Yeah. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Lucia says the spring air smells nice like a rose. Oh, that's lovely.
Hmm.
In the summer, it gets very dry like a desert. Amazing. Wow, Venanzio. The spring air smells like a flowery meadow. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
The spring air smells like a cup of hot coffee. Okay.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Hot coffee is my favorite thing, so very positive for me.
It's as quiet as a graveyard when it snows. Wow, that's great, Alessandro.
Mm, nice.
Lavinia says, the water is cold as a broken heart. Whoa! The rain sounds loud like a drum. Beautiful work, Lavinia.
That's like a song, Lavinia. You should be a songwriter.
Yeah, there's a poet in there, the soul of a poet.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so let's look at quite standard similes that we
Mm.
very often use. Would you like to go ahead and read them?
So the water is as cold as ice. Clear summer nights are as bright as day. In the summer, it's as dry as a desert. That's exactly the one that Alessandro has. The spring air smells like flowers. We had a similar one as well. It's as quiet as an abandoned library when it snows. The rain sounds like a herd of cows running on the roof. Well, that's very heavy rain, certainly.
Yeah, that would concern me if I thought a herd of cows were out on my roof.
Mhm.
We're not just giving us one more. It's as quiet as the street now under the COVID-19.
Very, very timely simile there.
Hmm,
Mm. Yes, and Lavinia likes writing little poems. I can see why. You should keep it up. You have a talent.
absolutely. Would you like to take the slide?
Yeah, so we have similes and we have metaphors. A metaphor is a comparison of two things without using like or as. So the snow is a white blanket, the summer grass is a soft green carpet. So it's presented in a literal way, unlike a simile, which is very demonstrably a comparison. Instead, a metaphor is just saying this is this. But like Michelle earlier, it's a rhetoric device. It doesn't. It's using language in a poetic way, but still very directly. So we have some more examples. How would you describe these things using a metaphor? Very hot sun, a starry night sky, a pleasant breeze, a cold wind, a very still lake, and a beautiful sunset. So with
Mm,
these ones, just be careful. Don't use like or as, because then it's a simile and not a metaphor.
that's the trick. Okay, guys. So restructure your comments and send them again. Send them in again without like or as. But perhaps we could do one,
Hmm,
right? A very hot sun.
yes. It's like no, that's the simile. The very hot sun is a radiator in the sky. I'm inspired
Ooh,
by the freezer one from the last round.
yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. It's a radiator in the sky. It's a bonfire in the sky.
Yeah, the supernova, the sky.
Okay, let's do another one.
Hmm.
A very starry sky.
Mm. I don't know. I'm not very poetic. A
Oh,
starry night
oh, I know
sky.
this.
What is it?
I'm going to invoke Rihanna. A sky full of diamonds.
Yeah, I mean that's a song full of metaphors and similes. That's a great one. Mm. Yeah, like a diamond encrusted surface. A diamond
Ooh,
encrusted, I don't know, something black.
yeah, exactly. Um, well, I think they've got the point. You guys are doing really well.
Yeah.
Alessandra says today the sun is a supernova. Exactly, perfect. A very still lake is a table of water.
Mm.
So we will just eliminate water, right? Because
Yeah.
there is never a table of water. There is no such thing, right? But
Mm.
there is a table. So you could say a very still lake is a table, and that's a really good metaphor.
Mhm.
And Lavinia says the lake is a sleeping baby. Nice.
Yes, very peaceful.
A pleasant breeze is a caress of heaven. Wow, you guys are so good.
Mhm. Italians are very poetic, I find.
They are. This is true. It's the language. It's a poetic language, right? And I feel
Yeah.
it bleeds into their personalities, which is awesome.
Yes, that's That's great. You should all be pleased with yourself.
Definitely. Ooh, Alessandro says, "You are the black in a starry sky."
Wow, it's very forward.
Just a dad.
So Julia wants to know what still means, and still is it doesn't move. So this
Mm,
is still and this is moving. So still, it's not moving.
okay. Venancio says, "A cold wind is a punch in the face." Yes.
Very good.
Alessandro says, "Your words are a cold wind for my heart, and your smell is a pleasant breeze." Fantastic work, guys. Let's go see what we have. These are pretty standard, but they're good metaphors to have in your arsenal. Would you like
Mhm.
to read them, Sean?
Yes. The sun was a flamethrower spitting heat. The stars were tiny holes in a black canopy sky. The breeze was a cool touch. The icy wind was a dagger through our clothes. The lake was a mirror reflecting the world. The sky was a watercolor painting.
Fantastic. Yesterday, the night sky was a Van Gogh. So we would say a Van Gogh painting. You could say Van Gogh, and it would be understood contextually, right? But if you added painting, I feel that would be more complete because Van Gogh is also a person. What do you think, Sean? You have a degree in art, so tell us.
But that doesn't qualify me to make that judgment.
Of course it
Yeah,
does.
A Van Gogh painting, yeah, because it is the painting, not the person, I suppose.
Okay, let's move on. If you have any questions, of course, write to us. Sensational senses. So this is a fun activity that we are going to use to wrap up the class. This is about how sight is our most powerful sense, but at the same time, we have four other senses which can be used to evoke some feeling. So picture your favorite season in your mind. What can you hear? What can you smell? What can you feel? And are there any tastes that remind you of this season? Write to us. Sean and I are going to think about our favorite seasons.
Yeah. So, in summer, what can you hear, Michelle?
In summer, I hear the nightingales.
Hmm.
The that always reminds me of summer. Whenever I hear the nightingales or the cuckoo,
Oh, the cuckoo, yeah. That, yes.
those are
Mm,
summer birds. What can I smell? I the sun, and the sea, the smell of salt.
mm,
Mm. What can I feel? I can feel the sun on my skin, the wind from the beach. Yeah, that's hopefully the water between my feet.
mm,
And are there any tastes that remind you of this season? Absolutely. Fruits, summer fruits like melons and mangoes and spritz.
Yes, it's a summer drink to be sure.
What about you? What reminds you of spring?
Yes, so like summer, the bird song is very evocative of spring for me because, of course, in winter the birds all go away. So
Mm-hmm.
when you hear the swallows again, particularly in Ireland, the return of the swallows means that spring is here. So
Mm,
the sound of swallows, and also really all the animals, the cows, the
mm,
sheep, everything coming back to life. And
mm.
the smell, I think very often in spring you can smell the rain because
True.
especially in April, you get a lot of showers, you get a lot of rainy days.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of that crisp, fresh air, I think, in spring when it's not really humid the way that summer is yet.
Mm,
Uh,
absolutely.
what can you feel? I mean, you can kind of. I like, when you pick a flower, and I think spring you have very, very delicate flowers. You have
Mm-hmm.
very, like, primroses and daisies and
Mm-hmm.
bluebells and things like that. And wildflowers like that are very, very soft. So that's the feeling of spring for me.
Mm.
Taste, I mean, it's a bit of a sad one because lambs are so lovely, but I associate the taste of lamb with, with spring because it's a dish that you have in spring when the lambs are young and good to eat.
True. Absolutely. It's what we have on Easter, which is celebrated in the spring as well. You have nice lamb roast. Just dive into that.
Not this year, unfortunately, but
Mm,
generally.
generally. Okay, guys, why don't you write to us and let us know um, about your favorite season and what you hear, smell, and feel. In the meantime, Venusfield has written in the early morning, spring walking. Okay, in the early morning when I am spring walking or walking in the spring on the empty street, I hear the sound of silence. Yep, it's pretty sad right now because we're in the city, so there's not much nature that we can enjoy.
Mm,
So the silence is deafening.
yeah.
Okay, so let's do a wrap up of what we've covered today. So remember, a metaphor is like a simile, but you don't use like or as. You use it without any like or as, and these are the examples. The snow is a white blanket, the summer grass is a soft green carpet. Similes is when you compare two things using like or as. It's as hot as the furnace outside. The sunlight felt like a warm blanket on her shoulders. Okay, I think we've covered the important grammar points. Anything you would like to add?
No, we have a few comments coming in,
Hmm.
a few last comments. So Alessandra says you can hear the sound of silence, which it is a sound, the absence of sound.
Hmm.
You can smell the fresh air, yeah, the clean air. You feel calm, and you taste bread, freshly baked bread. Lovely.
Hmm.
Certainly, the smell of fresh bread is really great as well, I think.
I agree.
And Julia is talking about summer. I can hear the sound of the waves in the sea. Yeah, the sound of moving water is very calming. I can smell
Hmm.
the fish cooked in a restaurant. I can feel the warm breeze of the wind. She's finished her thought there.
Fantastic. So, I think that's it then. We're about to wrap up. Thank
Hmm.
you for joining us. This was quite lovely, and it's so good when you guys participate. Makes the lesson so much better.
Yeah, we had a great participation today. Thank you, everyone. You're all very poetic.
Absolutely. Okay, have a good evening and have a great day tomorrow. Bye.
Bye bye.